So today we will be solving another Leetcode problem called merge to sorted list. It is number 21. You're given the heads of two linked lists, list 1 and list 2. Merge the two lists in one sorted list. The list should be made by slicing together the nodes of the first two lists. Return the head of the merged linked list. So basically we're given two linked lists and then we have to arrange it according to ascending order. Okay, so it has 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, so it'll be 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Okay, it looks good. So here our input is two linked list, right? We're given two heads of the lists. Okay, and then our output here is merge link list with value in ascending order. Okay, that looks good. And our constraint would be optimize, and our edge case would be, let's look at the example 2. We can just put if list 1 equals to empty and list 2 equals to empty array, return empty array. Okay, so in this case what we can do is create a dummy head and then compare the value of the node, and then whichever is bigger will pass in as a next for the dummy head. And if it is equals to, it doesn't matter which one you pick, this list or that list. So yeah, we can just put that in an else statement instead. And then at the end we will pass in whatever the remaining are. So there could be a case where this list could be bigger than this one, right? So once we iterate over and merge two lists, we might have remaining left, let's say in this first red linked. And we want to make sure that we pass that into the end of our new merge list as well. So what we can do is assign let A equals list 1. Then we can do the same thing with B. Let's B equals list 2. And then I said we need to create a dummy head, right? So we can say let dummy head equals to new node. So this one is list node, so list node, and then we'll pass in null. Okay, so I'm going to create a tail as well and assign that to the dummy head. So the tail would be the part that we would be changing over time. So what we can do is create a while loop and say that while either this part or this part is not null. So once one of them is null, then we'll get out of the while loop. So we can say while a dot a is not equal to null and b is not equal to null. So we will do this loop until either of those is not null. Okay, so now what we can say is that if a dot val is smaller than b dot val, so we're comparing the value of this and that. If a is smaller than b, then I can say tail dot next equals to a dot val. And then after we do that, we need to change the a to a.next. So it'll be a equals a.next. And we can have else statement here saying tail.next equals b.val. And then we can say b equals b.next. So in this case, if the a val is smaller than b val, then we would assign that to be the a tail.next. But if it is bigger than or equal to a.val, then we'll just pass in b.val as a next. And then make sure to change, remember to assign the a to something else like the a.next and b to b.next, so that we can keep iterating through the linked. So after we do that, we also have to make sure that we assign the tail to tail.next. Okay, so in here we have to take care of the case where if let's say one linked list is longer than the other, then we want to make sure that we attach that to the tail as well. So what we can say is if a is not equal to null, then we just say tail.next equals to a. Then do the same thing. B does not equal to null, then we say tail.next equals to b. And then at the end we will just return dummy head.next. So make sure that you return dummy head.next instead of dummy, because you know you don't want to return like null as the node and then have the merge link continue after that, right? You just want the solid merge list. So if you do dummy.next head next, then that should take care of it. Let's check by running the code and see if it works. Okay, so I have extra equal to, let's run it again. Okay, let's check what I did wrong. Oh, so it will be a, not val. So when you're passing the node, make sure you pass the node itself and not the val. So when you're comparing the two values, that's when you do a.val and b.val. But when you're passing in the next node, you have to make sure it's the node and not val. And let's try to run that again. And that worked. Let's try to submit the whole thing. Yeah, so that solves it. Yeah, so it is, you know, O of n runtime, since we're just using the while loop, and the space complexity is just linear because we're only using a new you know, we're just creating a new list. So that would be my solution. Hopefully that makes sense to you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.